Good morning. Today's video lesson is about Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You already know something about his life, the author, and the literary context. So today we're going to explore the novel in details. So, first of all, it's a novella published in 1886, establishing Stevenson as a Gothic writer. The plot is quite easy. It's the story of a respectable doctor, Harry Jekyll, who creates a potion to separate the good and the evil parts in a human being. He tests the potion on himself and eventually creates his evil part, his alter ego, Mr. Hyde. Being a respectful Victorian upper middle class doctor, Jekyll has to hide his findings from his friends. And eventually Hyde becomes very cruel, very violent, and even a murderer. Jekyll can't control him anymore, and so he has to suppress his creature, this monster, and himself at the same time. Where is the story set? The story is set in London, but some parts are some descriptions fit with the city of Edinburgh. Both cities were smoke-filled, dark, and dangerous places. Edinburgh in particular was divided into two parts, the old part and the new part, one within walking distance to the other. The old part was a filthy place full of beggars, prostitutes, and thieves. The new part was full of bright streets, of immaculate homes and wealthy people. And the same is true for London, which was separated into the East End and the West End, one more respectful than the others. In particular, London attracted immigrants from all over the colonies, and in the 19th century it counted up to 7 million people. Who are the characters of the story? The main character or characters are, of course, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Mr. Edward Hyde is of a fluid nature. He is described in the novel as repulsive and unable to hide who he is and what he does. On the other side, Dr. Jekyll is a respectable scientist, is a notorious doctor, he's well known and well learned. He's a member of the upper class and is the perfect Victorian gentleman. Mr. Hyde is cruel, and he's first described trampling on a young girl. He's walking and he tramples over her without even realizing what he's doing, and he's very cold in these actions. On the other side, Dr. Jekyll is his actions and his thoughts are mediated by reason and common sense. Nevertheless, he's too weak to contain Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde is described in animalistic terms. He's sometimes compared to a serpent, to a snake. He's deformed, he's lamed, he's hardly human. And in some ways, he represents the dangerous elements of London itself and of the neighborhood where he lives, which is called Soho. What is the structure of this novel? It's a Gothic tale, we said, and it's written in the form of a detective story. And it's told by an eyewitness, who is Jekyll's lawyer, Mr. Utterson. Another character eventually adds up some clues to solve the case, and this is Mr. Enfield. And in the end, a personal letter written by Jekyll himself reveals the truth. There is so a shifting point of view from the first-person narrator to the third-person narrator and back. And this continuous shifting creates a sense of suspense and reinforces the idea of duplicity, of two people, two different points of view, two different situations, bad and evil, and good and evil. What are the main themes of the novel? First of all, and primarily, the theme of a double or doppelganger in German. Doppelganger means double walker. That is a person you walk into and you recognize yourself in this person. It has some traits, maybe character traits, personality traits that are similar to yours, and some others which are completely different. We have already seen this theme in Jane Eyre and Bertha. Another theme is, sure, a moral allegory of the nature of evil. So Stevenson is wondering, is evil already implanted in ourselves? Is it a part of ourselves? Is there anything that make him come out, or what? Another theme is the struggle between conscious and subconscious. Sometimes subconscious may reveal parts of your true self, something that your conscious part does not know. And here I've put the image of an iceberg, where you see that the emerging part is very tiny, very little, whereas the submerged part, which is the subconscious, is really big, is grand, is great, and is something hidden, something that you can't see, but that in some ways sustain and reinforces the idea of your conscious part. Another theme is the theme of drugs, potions, that may release your inner demons and your secret desires. Dr. Jekyll creates this powder and takes this powder to transform himself into Mr. Hyde, up to the point that he can't do anything else but taking drugs to become Mr. Hyde. And last but not least, the theme of deformity. Mr. Hyde is a deformed man. At the time, but even before, physiognomy was considered a science. Now it's not a science anymore, but is the assessment of character or personality from a person's outer appearance, especially the face. So studying the face of a person, in particular his skull, these people, those who studied physiognomy, could understand or try to understand or try to reveal or foresee what kind of character, what kind of personality this person might have. So, in brief, we can say that duality, which is the main theme, is present in the novel in the form of language, because both people, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, speak a different language. And Dr. Jekyll is very precise, very fussy in the way he speaks, whereas Mr. Hyde is gross in the way he speaks. In setting, we've seen London, Edinburgh. In the structure, it's in the form of letters and diaries, and in the form the novel itself is presented, that is, it's a sort of Gothic novel. So, I think this is all for today. We'll go deeper in the analysis of the novel by reading a passage in class. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.